Now 92.1 FM, and time for our visit with Emily Zimmerman from the Juneau County Health Department and the WIC program. Hi, Emily. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing just fine here on this Wednesday morning, and you're here as our special guest host again, like we do every month. And today we're going to talk. Now, this is February, so we're done with January. Thank goodness. This is a terrible month weather-wise.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan. I thought we were having an easy winter until we had so much weather that caused you to want to stay home and drink hot chocolate all day.
And eat oatmeal, like we talked about last month.
Yes, definitely. So this month is typically everyone talks about Heart Healthy Month. And let's focus on kids. We're going to say heart healthy eating for kids. We all know that Valentine's Day is in February, and most kids are looking forward to getting Valentine's and candy. Instead of a Valentine, what can you give to your child's heart for Valentine's Day?
Let's see. What can be heart healthy for the kids instead of candy? I guess you have a list of what can be, can't you?
Yes, a heart healthy diet or heart healthy meals and snacks. So it's important to understand what heart healthy really means. So before we can really get into the food and nutrients, we want to talk about what are some words that you may have heard that are healthy or unhealthy. So, for example, LDL cholesterol. You've heard that out there. That's called the bad cholesterol. It causes that buildup of plaque in your arteries. It can lead to decreased blood flow. It can lead to heart disease, and we want to make sure that that level is less than 100. And the reason we talk about it is because you're going to find a lot of foods that are going to raise that bad LDL cholesterol.
Okay, now I've got to, I've had those tests done and stuff, and right now, knock on wood, my bad cholesterol and my good cholesterol are all the good numbers.
Awesome.
But, you do that a lot with adults. You wouldn't expect to worry about that with kids.
Exactly. So let me go through a couple more, and I'll tell you why we worry about this in kids. The next one is HDL. This is known as the good cholesterol. This HDL cholesterol helps remove that bad cholesterol from the body. And higher levels of this good HDL cholesterol have been shown to decrease the risk of heart disease. And we want to keep that level above 60. So that's going to be another word to remember. The next one is total cholesterol. So this is the combined measurement of the LDL and the HDL. And what it does is we want to make sure that that is below 200. So you don't have to really worry about the numbers right now unless your lab values with your doctor have been out of whack. And the last one we're going to talk about is triglycerides. It's a type of fat in the body. High triglycerides and the high LDL, which is the bad cholesterol, can increase your risk of heart disease. So let's keep that under 150. So going back to what you said, why is it so important to talk about it with kids? It's because, for one thing I want to say first is that fats are very necessary for growth and development and should not be restricted in children under 2 years of age. The reason we're bringing it up is because it's sad to say this, but it is true. Heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure are being seen in children now under age 5, and that hurts us. That's so hard to think of a child that's suffering. So the reason we're bringing it up is we're not wanting you to restrict the foods that you choose for your child. We just want you to keep them in moderation and to be aware of what foods have cholesterol in them and what that can do for your growing child.
Okay, so, unfortunately, because you usually hear more, the talk more about the obesity in kids is growing a lot more than it used to be. But now you are hearing a lot more of the high blood pressure and the diabetes and things like that. So we want to make sure that the kids are healthy so they don't have these problems as kids, and then it works as their way into young adults and adults too.
Exactly. So if we think about fats, saturated fats is a type of fat that is solid at room temperature. You're going to find it in fatty cuts of meat, dairy products made with whole or 2% milk, butter, lard, ice cream, coconut oil, palm oil. So those foods that are high in saturated fat, you want to limit them in children over 2 years of age. But remember, we're not going to restrict it when it's under because they need that fat for growth and development, especially of their brain tissues. So unsaturated fat are these polyunsaturated or monounsaturated. These are ones that do not raise that cholesterol. So that's good. And they help to lower the bad cholesterol. So those are going to be those things that we always hear in like those Mediterranean diets and things like that. So it's going to be sunflower, corn, soy, safflower oils, and you're going to find it in foods such as salmon and trout. And you'll also find, those are those polyunsaturated, and the monounsaturated are going to be olive, canola, and peanut oils, and you're going to find them in avocados and nuts. So most of the fats that your child consumes are going to come from those unsaturated fats. A lot of your children are probably not going to be eating salmon and trout or avocados. Maybe in your household they do, but more likely they're going to be getting those saturated fats in their diet.
Okay, so the saturated fats are the ones that we want to try to stay to limit, right?
To limit but never restrict.
Okay.
Exactly. So the last type is called trans fats. And these are ones that they want to keep those unsaturated fats solid at room temperature. So you're going to find those in deep fried foods such as French fries and donuts, or in baked goods like cookies, cakes, crackers, pies, muffins, margarine.
All the good things.
Yes, the things that we enjoy, the things that have that creamy, full, rich feeling, like cream cheese, the frosting on donuts, things like that. So what we want to do is the foods with trans fat should be limited, and you want to aim for your child to have as little as possible, because these don't provide nutritional benefits at all. These aren't the ones where we say don't restrict. These are going to be the ones that are modified from their original creation. So they're going to be like taking that beautiful olive oil, which is a monounsaturated oil, and changing it into a more solid oil, like a spreadable olive oil. So it's fancy science of saying just limit these in your diet for yourself and for your children.
Okay, again, we're talking with Emily Zimmerman from the Juneau County Health Department and the WIC Nutrition Program. And again, February Healthy Heart Month, and we're trying to focus on the kids right now because, unfortunately, a lot of the adult diseases are now spreading down to the kids. So what are good ways to because, a lot, like we mentioned, with a lot of these trans fats, your cakes, your donuts, your cookies, and things like that, kids, love to eat. How can, we still make them happy with that?
Exactly. So I myself enjoy a lot of the foods that we're talking about. So we're not saying don't feed these to yourself or to your children. We just want to maybe for the month of February focus on how you can maybe modify some of your recipes or choices you make in your days of the month of February to be good to your heart and to be good to the heart of those that you love, like your children and people in your home. So, for example, maybe for the month of February, instead of offering whole milk, which is high in saturated fat, maybe do a fat-free milk, which you could do skim or 1%, just to give your body a little break from that higher cholesterol. Next, instead of getting a full whole cheese made from whole milk, maybe do mozzarella-like skim milk string cheese. So opting for a lower fat cheese.
And kids love string cheese, so that's something, at least I know kids that love string cheese, and I do too. So, and you see a lot of that packaged that way. It's made with the lower skim milk, so that's a good idea.
Exactly. And on the WIC program, what we offer for children ages 2, 3, and 4 is you can opt out instead of getting the 4 gallons of the 1% skim milk. You can get 3 gallons of milk. You'll get a 32-ounce container of that low-fat, non-fat yogurt and a 16-ounce package of cheese. So this is great for you to make those changes right now. Another thing that you can opt out for healthier options is if you're going to be doing a lot of meats at home and you normally would do, what am I trying to say? Maybe you don't really think about different cuts of meat. Maybe you just buy the beef, pork, and poultry that you enjoy. Maybe look for leaner cuts of meat without the extra fat, or poultry without the skin. Or try different ways of cooking, maybe baking it, broiling, or roasting instead of always pan frying or coating it with something. So just maybe look for different recipes and change it up a little bit. Give your body a little break from all of those fats that you may consume in foods you eat.
Okay, so that's some great ways to do that, and I'm sure that you have a lot of this information at the Juneau County Health Department, too.
Yes, I definitely have saved everything we're talking about in a folder so that any of the staff that answer the phones can help you out with these healthy eating tips. Going back to some other information, so we've talked about saturated, unsaturated, and trans fats. Some other things that we haven't talked about food-wise is cholesterol. So cholesterol is a wax-like substance in the body that the body makes for normal body functions. It is also found in certain foods. Too much cholesterol can contribute to heart disease, and nobody wants a sick heart. Nobody wants a heart that has trouble pumping and makes you feel tired. So where's cholesterol found? It's going to be found in the egg yolks of the egg. It's going to be found in dairy and dairy products, meat, poultry, and shellfish. So what is recommended is that you limit your cholesterol foods to 300 milligrams a day. But however, cholesterol should not be restricted to children under age 2 because it's very necessary for their growth and development. They're still building their immune system. They're still building their brain tissues. They're still building so much of what makes them an adult later in life. So it's important to understand where cholesterol comes from, but to not restrict and limit those amounts in children.
Okay, so again, if the child's under 2, a lot of these things that we're talking about doesn't pertain to them.
Exactly. So when we're saying our title for today was a heart healthy eating for kids, it's good to make good choices as a family to reduce the amount of saturated and trans fats in your diet, but never completely take them out of your diet because they're essential for different parts of growth in children.
Okay, again, we're talking with Emily Zimmerman from the Juneau County Health Department here at Now 92.1 FM. We've got the Birthday and Anniversary Club coming up, and we'll talk more with Emily here on this Wednesday morning. Now 92.1 FM, and time to continue talking with Emily Zimmerman from the Juneau County Health Department and the WIC Nutrition Program. And we're talking about February is Heart Healthy Month for kids. And not just for the kids, but for everybody, too. I mean, everything that we're talking about this morning, we can apply to adults, too.
Exactly. The emphasis, the reason we're talking about it for kids is we forget that kids, their bodies are still growing and developing, and we don't want to introduce so many high saturated or trans fat foods that are hard on their body because you are finding children with heart disease and diabetes and hypertension, and that's not what we want kids to have. We want kids to enjoy being kids and not be sick. Okay. So we've talked about cholesterol, we've talked about saturated fats and unsaturated fats. So let's talk about what fiber is. And fiber is Fiber is a food component that the body cannot digest or absorb. It's very important, though. So what it is, there's 2 types of fiber. There's soluble and insoluble. Insoluble fiber is important in preventing that constipation, and it helps reduce the risk of colon cancer. And soluble fiber helps with cholesterol. So what that means, the difference is insoluble means that your body cannot break it down completely and use it in the body. There's going to be parts of it that aren't completely broken down, and what it does is it's like a little Pac-Man. It grabs everything you've eaten and kind of cleans out the walls of your intestine and your colon, and you excrete it out through your feces. Whereas soluble fiber is going to make sure that it's more broken down, and it helps actually break down the cholesterol. So the diets that are high in fiber can lower the LDL, that bad cholesterol. It's a win-win.
Every time I think of fiber, you think of older people. They're constipated, so they need more fiber in their diet, But you wouldn't think of that with kids.
I can't tell you how many moms and dads or grandmas and foster parents come in and tell me that their children, their babies, their little children in the home don't like to go poop because it hurts and they're so constipated. And it's because it's not surprising to me to hear when parents or caregivers tell me that children aren't getting enough fiber in their diet. They're not wanting those fruits and vegetables, or even if they are, they're not getting the amounts that they need to help them keep their stool softer. So yes, we always think that constipation only happens in the elderly. That is very, very untrue. Constipation means you haven't gone for multiple days, and when it comes out, it is very dry and hard, kind of more like how a rabbit would go, those little hard little circles. So I 100% believe in making sure you get fiber in your diet. So it's going to be found in whole grains. And that may seem crazy to say, okay, I can't go poop right now, but you want me to eat a piece of whole grain bread or whole grain crackers or whole grain cereal? That makes no sense. But it's crazy. What happens is when your body consumes whole grains, they go into the body and they are soluble and insoluble, and they start being those little Pac-Men, and they start breaking down the solids in your colon, and it actually helps you go. The next thing is fruit. So that's going to be especially the fruits that have pits. So think of cherries, apricots, peaches, plums, avocados, anything with a pit. That is going to help break down and help you go, and it has bulk. Think of when you take and you eat a peach or a pear or a cherry. There's a lot of those little fibers inside of it. Mm-hmm. That's the fiber. That's what that is. And vegetables, the vegetables that take a little bit longer to cook, like the celery and the carrots and the broccoli and the cauliflower. Again, all those little fibers in there. That's what that is. And then, of course, seeds and nuts and cooking beans, like black beans, garbanzo beans, navy beans. All of that is bulk and fiber, and that will help your body completely prevent constipation. It gets everything out of your colon, gives you that full feeling. It's a win-win. Fiber does everything for your body. It's one of my favorite things is fiber.
But then again, everything that you've mentioned, a lot of that stuff kids don't want to eat.
So how to make it fun is maybe you buy whole wheat toast, but then you put it in the toaster and they get to help you spread the butter on there, and maybe they get to pick a fun fruit jam to put on there. Or maybe make a little cinnamon toast. You got to be fun once in a while. Or maybe you get to make your French toast for breakfast with your whole grains, with your whole wheat. But remember, even on WIC, you can get like the cinnamon raisin swirl bread. So you can really have fun with it. And maybe it doesn't taste as good when it's not toasted. Toasting bread can change everything. Or you can get, on WIC, you can get the whole wheat breads, rolls, or buns. But you can also get 14 to 16 ounce packages of whole wheat, of brown rice. So that's a great thing to do. And if you've never had brown rice, it's a little bit nuttier and a little bit more full feeling. That's the fiber that you don't find in the white rice because it's been bleached and stripped of that full factor. It's missing those things. And the other three options you can get is whole wheat pasta on WIC now. So that's another option for you for the whole grain. Or you can get the whole wheat or the soft corn tortillas. So there's so many options, and I have endless recipes and ideas to get you to enjoy them or your kids that you just don't have the time to be creative and think about.
Well, I was just thinking a couple of the things that you mentioned, like celery. Okay, chop them up little, celeries and put peanut butter in them. Kids love that. And you're getting the fiber, plus you're getting peanut butter, you're getting nuts in there, which have the fiber too. So that's a fun little thing that kids will enjoy and gets them in that fiber.
And something that you want to let the kids know is take little bites of celery. We don't want to take a big bite because there's little stringies in there.
Yep.
And don't be afraid of the stringies. That the celery just wants you to know, I got more here for you. I'm leaving that little string so you don't forget I got more bites here. And tell them it's okay. It's not like hair, kids. That's just the way that celery is made. It's all connected, and when we take a bite, there's still more left. I remember as a kid, that's what my grandma said to me, is don't be afraid of that kind of stringy feeling when you eat celery. Just take little bites instead of a big bite.
So, but yeah, like you said, you have lots of information on this for people that, like you said, how do you get the kids to eat some of that stuff when that's not going to be their favorite things to eat? But if you can incorporate it different ways, more fun ways, then you're going to get the kids. And that goes back to how we've talked in the past, too, on other shows of getting the kids involved in making the food. If, they're the ones that are helping to put the butter or the spread on the toast, something like that, they're going to have more fun with it, and they're going to have a little better chance of eating it then.
If anyone's interested, I do have a fiber smoothie recipe that actually has ground oatmeal in it, and it has a mix of fruits, vegetables, yogurt, and juice in it. If you're interested in that, I have that recipe. The last tip I want to talk about is omega-3s. So omega-3 fatty acids are fats that the body needs to carry out normal body functions. We've talked about a lot of things that the body needs to work. We've talked about cholesterol. We've talked about fiber. We've talked about a lot of different things. Omega-3s are really important because the body cannot make these fats. So these fats need to come from our diet. And these fats have been proven to reduce the risk of heart disease. And you've heard that from me for almost every food we've talked about. So that's going to be found in fatty fish like salmon, herring, tuna, mackerel, and sardines. And I want to emphasize that children should only eat 2 servings of fish a week. You don't want to go over that because some fish can have higher mercury, and that's a metal, and we don't want that in a child's diet in high amounts, but unlikely our population is not going to be eating shark, swordfish, king mackerel, or tilefish. But I still have to say the FDA encourages that you only offer children 2 servings of fish a week. Or if you are pregnant or breastfeeding, that is also your limit.
Okay, so lots of things to think about, ways to make February a heart-healthy month for kids and for adults, too.
Definitely. So it's just really important to maybe spend the month of February to focus on your heart. And it's not just the heart of being sweet to each other and being thankful and being someone's Valentine. Maybe remembering the thing that keeps us going, that heart that pumps and gives us a smile, the heart that pumps so that you can show your love to others. We want to make sure that we're being good to that heart. So we want to choose fiber, and we want to choose healthy cholesterol foods, and we want to choose foods that don't make our heart work so hard, especially in our young, sweet little kids. We don't want them to be exhausted because we're giving them so many high-fat foods that they're gaining weight way too fast for their age and height, that they're struggling to breathe because their heart's working extra hard, or they're being diagnosed with diabetes and it's hard to tell your child they can't have something because they're a child, but you know it's not good for them because of their diabetes. So let's focus on this month to prevent any of those things happening. And if you already have children that are obese or have issues with heart disease or cholesterol issues, managing their weight or diabetes, please give us a call. Our dietitians and nutritionists would love to be able to offer you any support and advice that you need.
Okay, and you've got all this information available with the Juneau County Health Department and the WIC program. Speaking of the WIC program, what are we doing here in February?
So for the first week of February, unless the schools, something that you may not know for the public is, let's say there is a clinic today in Mauston, but the school district closes due to weather. The policy is if the school districts close, WIC would cancel their clinic and call and reschedule appointments. So if we have beautiful weather all week, cross your fingers. The schedule for the WIC program this week is Wednesday. We will be in Necedah from 9 to 3. Thursday, we'll be in Mauston from 8 to 3. Friday, we'll be in Adams from 9 to 3, and we're back in Adams again on Monday from 9 to 3. We'll let you know if anything changes between now and Monday, but that's the set schedule for now.
Okay, and anybody with questions about nutrition for the WIC program or with the health department, how do they get a hold of you?
The WIC program's phone number is 847-9375.
Okay, so I'll give you a call or stop in and get more information on the WIC program if you need that, or how to keep Heart Healthy Month going.
Yes, so in case you're wondering, what is the WIC program? It's not the same as Food Share. It's for women. As soon as you find out you're pregnant, give us a call. Your benefits start immediately, and your family size actually will go up, including your infant. So you're going to meet the income guidelines easier. And what it is, it's for pregnant women. And then once you've had the baby, you can be on between 6 months to a year, depending on if you're breastfeeding or not. And then it's for infants from birth to age 5. And it's an income-based program where we do a health assessment, and each participant that is on WIC receives a food package based on their nutritional needs. And we're able to assess and give you education. We do lead and hemoglobin testing. We're all certified lactation consultants. It's just a fantastic program to give you expert advice on the things that matter most to you. About raising your healthy family. Okay.
Emily, you always give us great advice, and you always do it in a fun way, too.
I'm just a spunky girl, so I just am here to try and make nutrition fun and easy to understand.
Okay. Well, we thank you, and we'll talk to you again next month.
Awesome. I'll have to think about something for March.
Okay.
Maybe marching into something. I have no idea. I haven't thought of it yet.
You'll come up with something fun.
Yes, I will.
Emily Zimmerman from the Juneau County Health Department and the WIC Nutrition Program here with us today on Now 92.1 FM.